Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about emergency evacuation wristbands. My name is Kyle Culkin. I'm the emergency preparedness nurse for Ventura County EMS Agency. So why use wristbands during an evacuation in the first place? Well, facilities should have a plan for evacuations. It's a simple and easy way to communicate. It helps keep patients safe. It helps with patient tracking. And it helps identify patient conditions and other medical equipment that they may have. In addition, this plan is also already implemented in Santa Barbara County, so that helps give a continuity of care during an evacuation between the two counties. Communication during a disaster. Large facilities may be able to shelter in place in consult with other agencies like EMSA and fire departments. A communication method is also the SITREP, the Situation Status Report. That's at sitrep.vchcc.org. The EMS agency also has 2 phone numbers that you can contact. We also have the EMS duty officer that can be contacted, but this is for emergencies only. You can also utilize vcemergency.com for evacuation zone maps and other resources. So a wristband setup. Keep in mind, in your email, you received a variety of training materials that can be reviewed, and we're going to review some more of the setup and other details here. So set up a patient band when they're admitted to your facility or if they have a change in patient status. We recommend a residence band include the first and last name and the date of birth. That's their 2 critical identifiers. Then a facility emergency contact, family or guardian name and their contact number if applicable. Then the required jewels that indicate some type of medical status and their allergies if applicable. For example, if there is someone who has some type of medical condition that inhibits them from being able to provide what their allergies actually are, it would be helpful if they are actually listed on the wristband. So the band setup. You will receive, free of charge, 4 bands and 2 sets of jewels per registered bed. So for every single bed, you'll receive 4 bands and 2 complete sets of jewels. 1 wristband can accept 1 full set of jewels. You attach the jewels that are applicable to the patient to their evacuation band. And we recommend keeping the evacuation band with the patient chart or in an easy to access location. You can see the colors that apply to a patient's medical condition. So a blue jewel on their wristband would indicate that there's a memory issue. A purple jewel would indicate that they have an active DNR. A red jewel indicates that they have an allergy or allergies. And a yellow jewel indicates that they are a fall risk. So what do the bands actually look like? On the left, you can see how these come prepackaged. They've all been packaged in boxes for you, ready to go, but they come in sets. So you can see a whole bunch of white wristbands attached together, along with how the jewels are packaged. The jewels come in strips. You can see the red, purple, and yellow, and then the blues come individually wrapped. These are all wrapped and numbered for you, prepared and ready to go. On the right-hand side, you can see a wristband that has all 4 jewels attached for all 4 medical conditions. You can see the wristband is blank, but that's where you would either write, type, attach a sticker, or whatever is applicable for that patient's critical information. Sheltering in place. You want to continue normal operations until instructed otherwise by EMS or fire personnel. Prepare for that potential evacuation. This includes alerting destination facilities and transport companies. You also want to consider additional hazards that may be present. This is circumstance dependent, so it depends on what is causing this potential evacuation or sheltering in place. For example, is your HVAC system able to filter the amount of smoke that's in the air if there is a nearby fire? Preparing to evacuate. You want to use facility evacuation plans and checklists. Definitely alert your staff and the evacuation destination facility so they can prepare. You want to alert your licensing authority. Also inform the EMS agency through SITREP and by phone. That's both. You want to inform them by sit rep and by phone, and then alert your transportation and your drivers. Actual evacuation. This is when you're going to place the correct evacuation band on the patient, wherever it's stored, either nearby in a convenient location or in their chart, which is what we recommend. Check to make sure that there's the 2 critical patient identifiers, that's the name and date of birth. Verify that the information is still accurate on that wristband, and then place a second wristband on the patient's durable medical equipment so that it's more easily identified in an evacuation. Facility designated reporter is also responsible for completing the evacuation forms, such as tracking sheets. In your training materials, we have also provided an example of a tracking sheet. Also responsible for providing the tracking sheet and chart to the receiving facility, and in addition, providing that tracking sheet to EMS personnel if required or requested. Here is an example of an evacuation flow chart. This is also provided in your training materials. So at the top, you can see an incident occurs, and then there's 2 ways that it can go. On the right, you will see it's in a type of evacuation with warning, and that gives you basically a little more time to prepare, where you can follow that algorithm down on the right-hand side, where you need to either cancel the evacuation and resume normal activities, or, yes, implement that evacuation. On the left-hand side at the top, you can see that's an immediate type of evacuation that does not allow for very much time to prepare. This flow chart is available to you in your training materials. So some tips. Evacuation bands are not for daily use. This is not something that should be on somebody at all times. Keep the patient band in the chart or in an easily accessible location. So if a potential evacuation or an evacuation needs to happen, it's nearby and easily accessible. Only place the bands on patients when the evacuation is required. That's very important. And also, do not delay evacuation to put on a band if the threat to the health or safety of anybody is imminent. So don't delay evacuation if threat to health or safety is imminent. Very important points there. Some more tips. Consider filling out 2 bands for each patient. So this would be one for the patient and another for their durable medical equipment. Jewels aren't required for the second band that's placed on the medical equipment, but that just helps track it and is more easily identifiable for the patient during an evacuation. Another important point is to update all the residents' bands with changes in their status. So for example, if they came to your facility and they did not have an active do not resuscitate order, however, they've consulted with their family and their physician, and they have an active DNR in place, that's a change in status. You're going to want to update their wristband with that jewel. And also write the patient's allergies on a band if possible. That is very helpful during an evacuation, where you can see what the allergies are, but you may not know what they are. And if that patient is not able to articulate them to you, it's very helpful to be able to just look at that wristband and know what those allergies are. What to do next? You're going to follow the QR code in this link. It will also be provided to you in the email and training materials. You're going to follow this to the survey and enter your information. You're going to make an appointment and with a phone number that's provided to you and pick up your evacuation bands, free of charge to you. Any questions you have, you can contact Diane Gilman. She's our EMS office manager. Janelle Hahn, our emergency preparedness specialist, or me, Kyle Culkin, the emergency preparedness nurse, if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for participating in this program and for your continued dedication to providing quality patient care.